right when my career was picking up in India, it was time to leave for the US. Exactly when I thought now things are not going to work out, they actually worked out. When you work hard, you do get the results. Given the perks AI is offering us, it's so hard to be, I would say it's also easy to be creative, but it's also hard to be different and to be unique.
Like people put up a different image on social media. Do you think that's still the case, or do you think the camera can sense the fakeness?
Camera can't.
It can't.
There are so many people I meet in person versus how I imagine them being.
Right.
It's different.
Content creator, fashion stylist, TEDx speaker, and a new mom, and someone who's been doing this long before we figured out what content creation really was. So please welcome with me, Kompal Matta Kapoor. So Kompal, let's talk about your journey, right? First of all, thank you so much for being here. And, I have been following your content from a very long time now. And I think almost 6 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
Right. So, a girl from Lucknow who went to Delhi, then US, and then back to India. So just walk us through your journey and tell us how you ended up here.
If I have to just put it into very less words, I would say I was always passionate about doing something in life. I was lost. I was running behind the idea about degrees and getting into a traditional job. Although back there in my heart, I knew that I wanted to get into fashion, content, or maybe styling, anything related to that. Content creation was something I knew that time.
Right.
I picked up along with my graduation bit in Delhi University, and I did not know that content creation is going to be something so huge in the coming few years. I was just doing it as a part-time along with my college, and it picked up. I started making money out of it, so there was no better feeling, and I realized I need to do something in fashion. I got into Pearl Academy right after. So right after Delhi University, I got into Pearl Academy to pursue fashion styling. I wanted to be a celebrity stylist, but I ended up being a content creator full time because my blog picked up, and I would write blogs that time, 10, 12 years ago. Sorry?
WordPress.
Yes, WordPress, correct. And that picked up, and then I eventually started shooting for a lot of brands in Lucknow. That's where I picked up from. They loved my work. If I have to be very honest I would create content that people are creating now. I would really focus on the quality and creativity back then. So I think that was something people loved. Then I moved out to the US. I got married. And right when my career was picking up in India, it was time to leave for the US. Exactly when I thought now things are not going to work out, they actually worked out.
Right.
Then COVID came. So content creation was something that really became more relevant because there was so many sort of niche that picked up, food, travel, fashion, everything. And my page was already there, and that really gave me a plus point. People knew me from before. And I think COVID was the time when things turned around for me in a better way. Although I thought moving to the US would leave me nowhere in terms of growing my career, but it did pick up. And of course, my husband and me, we were like literally one-man army, managing all the departments, from managing her house to managing he managing his own job, and then my full-time career of content creation, where he actually encouraged me to not leave that segment because I really believed in that. He was like, you don't need to come here and start a job. I think you're doing good and you just need to give it time. Yeah. So it picked up. And we spent almost 6-7 years over there, in the US, and he spent almost a decade. He studied there, worked there, and there was a time when we realized that, okay, now we want to do something of our own. And he was kind of ready to give up on his 9 to 5 as well. So we thought maybe India is a good place to start with. Because to be honest, we were not getting enough bandwidth in New York. We did not. I think most of our energy was going into a lot more things. And coming back, we realized that, okay, maybe this is just the right time to take a chance. And right when we thought about it, I got pregnant. And that's when we could not implement that bit of our plan. And now this year, when I have recovered pretty much, I thought, okay, this is the right time to bring our brand online. So now we have a brand that's like a baby to us. It's just been 3 weeks to it, and we're loving the journey.
Beautiful. Now, a lot of questions, but I'll just start from the beginning. So, like you said, when you started picking fashion and content creation, it was not even a thing back then, right? So, who was the point of reference for you?
I would say I was following a few creators outside India, and I was not really sure what exactly they are doing and are they really making a career out of it, financially. I was just confused. And then I saw few creators in India doing it as well. Not a lot, maybe just handful, maybe like 2 or 3. And I was like, okay, maybe we can just start and see how it goes. And I think around the same year or after a year or two, Instagram was launched in India. And I was on it from the very first day. I was like, okay, there's a new app where I can actually post my pictures, not just like have lengthy captions, how it would be on my blog, every detailed, history of my outfit or where I shot, why I chose a certain location, why this outfit, why the shoes. So Instagram was more quick and short. So it was like a visual diary.
Do you remember the first moment you got your paycheck?
Yes, I remember the first paycheck I got in India as well as US. I think the most special one was the US because I did not expect that coming in a month. And it was through a brand that I worked with in India, and they were like, we want to still work with you, you've gone so far. And that first paycheck from India and even the one from the US with a American brand, that was more powerful because you're coming as a foreign person in a different country and they're valuing you for your work. So that's a different feeling.
No, I'm sure. I think creating content in different countries is a different ballgame altogether.
Yeah, I think now I have that in me that, okay, till the time you can work well, you know what you want to do.
Right.
If you're placed or rooted anywhere, you'll be able to cherish.
So did you face any challenges or it actually worked in your favor?
Out there?
Yeah.
Only challenges.
Only challenges.
Yeah, of course. But I think it worked in my favor because God actually saw me putting in my 200% maybe. So I think when you work hard, you do get the results. Challenges were mainly in regards to having my team all in India. It was not easy to build one over there in every aspect. And managing your house is a new responsibility that I never knew about. It's a whole different level of game out there as compared to how we are.
What would be the difference, like creating content in India and then creating content?
Everything is sorted here. You have so many people to support you in terms of taking care of your food and taking care of your things that you even something as basic as ironing your own lehenga would take me like 30-40 minutes in America, and I would be like, now I'm drained.
So you were like
making my breakfast or packing my lunch for the shoot. So it was like where I could be more like if I would do 5 shoots in India, I could only be able to do 2 over there. That's just one thing, and that's true. And plus, the main factor was the weather out there. It was mostly cold when we lived in Boston and New York. And I would wear clothes from Indian brands like cotton saris, lehengas, suits, court sets. And I was like, how am I supposed to do it here? And what's the charm of just sitting at home and doing it? I've always been someone who created content outdoor, not someone who liked to make it indoor. I would just fight with brands that please let me go out and do it, even though it would be like -2, -3. And I would share about this to my followers very often, and some would be like, why are you complaining? I would be like, I wish Instagram also mentioned that, shot in -10.
So I think you should just write in the caption.
Right. So these were the main struggles. A lot of times weather would make me, waste a lot of days. So
So, there's this one question that I asked to every OG content creator, which is that when you started, there were not a lot of people out there. And now I think content creation has come to this level that there is some saturation.
Yeah.
Especially, I think after lockdown, a lot of content creators have emerged. So, do you think that you had like a first mover's advantage?
I would say yes. And I think I never took that for granted. There, people have seen me grow. People who've seen me for the last 12 years. They know why today she's actually buying an Audi. Why she's actually holding a Chanel. They know, they've seen that journey. They've seen me coming from a point where I've actually earned this for myself versus just
Right.
coming up with like, oh, I got it.
And like you said, there were posts back then, and now there are reels, short
Yes.
form content.
Yes.
So I'm sure you have to evolve, also reinvent yourself
Yeah.
with them. So how do you ever get a creative block?
Of course, because of the clutter, how there's so much online now. This was not the case 5-6 years ago.
Right.
Every sort of content is available, and especially given the perks AI is offering us, it's so hard to be. I would say it's also easy to be creative, but it's also hard to be different and to be unique.
Right.
There are so many people. Although I'm glad,
How do you see it?
So-
Do you see it as a, con, or do you think?
I still don't know. I think I'm in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, there are so many areas where it helps us. So I completely don't want to be like it has only the cons. So maybe with time, I think you should just rely to it on a level. Otherwise, the whole charm of reality goes away in terms of content, or maybe in terms of bringing creativity to your ideas.
So what is your creative process like?
I would just want to sit at a coffee shop. My creativity is not something that it would come out if a brand is on my head that you need to deliver by 5 p.m. But I am more like, okay, give me that zone of a day or two, and then it's just that it doesn't take much time for me to be creative, but then I just need that zone.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah. So, and what advice would you want to give to somebody who's starting out now, considering there's so much saturation?
Honestly, this is one of the questions I get to hear every time when I'm coming for a podcast or an interview. I would say in today's time, as much as organic you can be, that's the only key to grow. That's only working out. More relatable content. I, of course, had a very polished Instagram feed years ago because that was all Instagram about. Pictures, not reels or curated. I mean, it was about curated feeds. Now it's just about what you're doing. People want to consume more in less time. So I would just say that maybe stick to what you really like, even if it's a curated feed. Stick to it if that's making you happy. And but you never know. Like, I think the right brands find you. That's the whole thing. Even if it takes a year or two, the right people end up working with you if it matches their taste, and you find your audience anywhere. So just being true versus focusing on every sort of department. I just feel that. But again, also to make a living out of it, a lot of creators have to tap into a lot more areas, given just fashion or just tech or just travel. But of course, I try my best to put in fashion with traveling. That's what I did when I moved out. I would love outdoor places. I would mix travel with my fashion, like wearing a sari at maybe Death Valley, or maybe a sari on Miami Beach, something like that. Iconic, like a sari at a beach picnic. So I just tried to mix aesthetics with
And do you think
fashion.
people are now switching to more raw content
Yes.
than more put together?
Yeah, and that's working out.
Yeah.
I think I believe the biggest reason is that people are aware that social media is curated to a lot of level.
Right.
And I'm glad people are aware.
Yeah.
It's important. So if raw content is working out, one should definitely tap into that.
Right. So considering, Instagram is all about aesthetic and everything. So, do you still think that content creation is to a certain extent a little performative?
If you could clarify more on this
Like
bit.
people put up a different image on social media.
Okay.
Do you think that's still the case? Or do you think the camera can sense
No,
the fakeness?
camera can't.
It can't.
I don't want to be that bad one here, but yeah, there are so many people I meet in person versus how I imagine them being.
Right.
It's different.
Okay. All right. So Kompal, you've also said before that, you're a very introvert person, right? So somebody who's an introvert who is in social media, do you ever go to like all these parties and events?
I think I'm only able to go because I want to. I have so many people who support me, and I want to give that back.
Right.
And also see them winning. That's
Right.
the reason I try to step out of my comfort zone
Yeah.
and do that bit, because it's not going to work out otherwise. That you only have people clapping for you, but you don't do the same for them
Right.
and give an excuse.
Right.
So I try my best. That's
What
what I
advice
say.
would you give to somebody who's introvert and they have to do it, like they have to go to the events of art?
I think as long as you know this is your bread and butter, you have to do it. And I think this is what I realized with time. And I still remember there was a time during my childhood when I just recalled this. My mom would say that, you don't talk to people, you don't step out. Karma will come back to you. And I wish something gets you going and you realize that it's so important to even talk. It's not like I'm rude, but it just,
You are so.
yeah, I am. And then, boom, I got into social media. Yeah.
Right. Speaking about trolling, so I think it's a part and parcel of participation, right? So has it ever taken a toll on your health, and how do you deal with it?
I believe it's been not always, because I see my followers, most of my followers have seen my journey. So mostly when they come up with something, it's in a subtle way. And I appreciate that. That's the kind of criticism I'm happy to take and happy to, openly discuss. But if you see random people coming and giving you a harsh feedback, then I think that's just people not in a good mood. So I just try to convince myself that, okay, I should be the bigger person and let it go. Maybe they're not having a good day. They're just like randomly coming from nowhere and pointing out at the tiniest flaws. So maybe it's just,
Thick skin now.
yeah. And I think my close followers who know my journey, they always come up with constructive feedback. Yeah.
Nice, that's good. So, like I said, you were creating content in US also, and when we talk about content creation in US, the lifestyle is totally different. So, at any point, did you feel like you were kind of fitting in, or trying to change your lifestyle or certain things about yourself?
Of course, when I was being invited by the brands out there, they required a specific type of content from me. So that would also require me to shift a little from what I've been doing, maybe also being involved in what they celebrate. For example, something as big as Christmas over there or Halloween over there, something that, I would not make a big deal about here.
Right.
But you need to do certain things when you want to also be a part of that place and relate to the audience there. It's just something normal. Like where you're living, you also need to cater to the audience out there.
Right. Also, I think monetization in content creation is very glamorized, but people really don't talk about how certain times you get your payment late and sometimes brands might not even pay you. Yeah. So what would you suggest? Like, do you think people should also have like a side hustle, or how should they go about it?
If I have to be very honest, transparent, why I started my work was only because I did have lows during my career, maybe straight for like 3 months, 4 months. And that was the time when actually Brew came to my mind, BrewSkin came to my mind. And I realized that, okay, this is also the part of the game. You can't just be always making money. It's a business, and that's the only difference between a business and a full-time job, that you got to take the risk. So that was the phase when I realized I want something to be there for me when other things are not working out.
Right.
So, and also I'm sure for a lot of people, content creation is working great. It's good for me as well. But that phase just taught me that a little backup is important.
Yeah.
And especially when you have an audience and if you believe in a brand, your product, then why not bring it up there? I mean, of course, I'm not like this brand is supposed to be the big one getting me, all the attention, but it's a journey. Just how my career took 12 years, I'm sure BrewSkin will take its own time. We're having a face out there in the market and having an identity already that I've created for myself. Maybe that's an added benefit, that I can actually make my products reach to a larger audience in a lesser frame of time.
Right. So I think that was a very informative round. Now I would like to move on to the rapid fire round.
Okay.
Okay. So Lucknow, Delhi, or US? What was the best version of yours? Where was the best version of yours?
I would say US.
US?
Yeah. If you talk about version, because I think it taught me highs and lows too soon. I was a complete different personality.
Okay. So we also know that you recently became a mom, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure coming to a different country altogether, again back to India, and then embracing motherhood. So what's more tough, content creation or motherhood?
I think with the right support around, both of these things are manageable. Yeah, I think having the right support with family and also the career I'm already into gives me the bandwidth. Brands are so supportive in terms of giving me a flexible deadline.
Right.
So it's not hard.
Perfect. Perfect. One brand you would never say no to.
K beauty.
K beauty.
Yeah.
Okay. One trend that you think is done and dusted.
One
Trend.
trend. Oh, I think I don't know if it's just coming out of nowhere. I think nail art has just been out of the game now. We
Yeah.
all are loving more of subtle and like
Right.
classics, and it's gone for a while. It's not even like just
Yeah.
a year or two. I don't know why, but out of nowhere, I just came onto nails.
No. I think for a lot of people, they are done with nail art.
Yeah.
So would you delete your content or never post again? Which one would you choose? That's a tricky one.
I think delete.
Delete. Okay. One word that describes your life right now.
Balanced.
Balanced.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. Thank you so much, Kompal,
Thank
for
you so
being here. It
much.
was lovely speaking to you.
Likewise.
Thank you.